Alrighty, hello Kaiju United folks. We are now using StreamYard, and I have a new microphone. We're upgrading our tech, switching to video portions for the community interviews. And this time on the community interviews for Kaiju United, I have Brendan Morley, aka Autistic Lizard Productions, with me. Brendan, if you want to say
Hi,
hi, introduce yourself.
hi, Jacob, and hey, everybody, and it's really great to have me on your show, Jacob. I'm really looking forward to this.
I appreciate it. For those of you that do not know, Brendan does a podcast on YouTube. Right now, he's covering all the Godzilla films from the beginning to the most current stuff with special guest stars talking about each movie each time. I wanted to ask, first and foremost, Brendan, what led you to doing podcasting? Where did that passion come from?
Well, I have been a lot of interview shows on other hosts' channels over the past few months. I mean, what let me what let me got me into podcasting is because because over the years first of all, I am an artist. I draw a lot, like fan art, like you see the ones behind me, including my channel icon right here. And I actually did that. And because it's like is it's kind of a hobby for me, all drawings and doing fan art, and sometimes I wanted to try something new in my life. Like to me, like I always wanted to be like a famous person, like a famous guy, like on his own interview show, like just like Jimmy Fallon and any others you might know, like and Jay Leno and I kind of want to be like those people who interview movie stars, and that's something I have always dreamed about all these years. But like when I first hearing about podcasts, like I'm starting to like become interested of I want to become a podcaster. But I have never listened to any podcast channel or stream before, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you went into it with almost a blind, fresh perspective. You just said, I want to do podcasting. Do you listen to any now that you've done it, or do you still just kind of do your own thing? You don't have any inspirations or anything like that?
That's a good question, Jacob. I mean, kind of like in between. Like sometimes I listen to other podcasts videos. Like there are like there are many different kinds. Like just there's just audio and just recording lives and videos. But sometimes I listen to those, but like only a short time. I mean, the more I listen to those, I mean, that made me come up with an idea for my channel. Yeah, like I want to do something new for my YouTube channel, like because all I done on my YouTube, all I done on my YouTube channel is just I just don't upload videos that much and all that. I mean, when I heard about people are interviewing other YouTubers and doing podcasts, that made me had a dream. Like, what if I do a podcast on my channel someday? And so I did. And and actually a few weeks ago, and it was actually the first anniversary of my podcast. And I didn't quite celebrate that much because it was that was the first year that I've done my show.
It's only been a year?
Yeah. That was way
That's
before.
crazy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that was like way before my channel is becoming a hit. I mean, now it's like before it became interesting of my show, before some subscribers are starting to be interested of listening to my podcast and live stream. I mean, my podcast is kind of different than the other podcasts that we know about. I mean, sometimes I feeling like my podcast isn't really a podcast. I feel like this is just a normal live stream show. It's just a chat about these classic films.
Totally. Yeah, and I like the structure of how you do your episodes because it's always just like two fans just talking about the movie they enjoy. It's not like super what's the best word here? Like it's it's very chill, it's very relaxed. Anyone can come in and listen to it. It's more like kind of like what we're doing right now, just having a conversation, just discussing.
Yeah. And and also I forgot to mention that this one is almost like between interviewing and reviewing about the film. Like, like talk about a little bit behind the scenes and how we know about it.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite episode that you've done so far? I know that I'm sure you enjoy talking to everybody that has appeared on your show so far, but like, I mean, let's start from ground zero. Like, what is your favorite Godzilla movie?
Hmm. Oh yeah, I love that question you asked. My favorite Godzilla movie of all time is Ebra Horror of the Deep.
It's a great pick.
Yeah.
I think that movie is so underrated. It's just really charming. That's one that when I was growing up as a kid, I just didn't really appreciate. I'm not sure why, but I watched it as an adult. I'm 25, just for those of you guys that don't know. Um, and I watched it like last year, and I was like, "This is actually pretty great." It's like it's a hidden gem of the Godzilla series, I think.
Yeah, because yeah, and I did mention of Ebra Horror Dave on other people's interview videos that I was a guest in, like including Donnie Winter's "Growing Up with Godzilla" episode that I was in.
Yeah, I watched that one. I enjoyed that episode a lot. What do you like about Everywhere Horror of the Deep? What makes it your favorite?
Well, I think and I know I bring this up a lot in other videos. I mean, what I liked about it is like it took place on a tropical island and all the monsters battle underwater and some heroes rescuing the natives from the red bamboo and then Mothra comes to save them and then the island just exploded and this I know this film was supposed to be a King Kong film, but they decided to throw in Godzilla in it, and that's why they have that scene of Godzilla just stares at Dio.
Oh yeah, and then the lightning like wakes him up Frankenstein style because like
Yeah,
they were like, oh, what if we made it Frankenstein? No, let's make it Kong, and then finally, no, let's make it Godzilla. It's got a crazy behind the scenes story. Is that your favorite podcast then? Because it's your favorite movie?
well, I did a podcast on my I did a podcast episode about it on my channel that was back in somewhere at the end of August or September. I don't remember. I think it was September that I did that episode with Goji Fan 1998. That and that was I feel like that was like the longest episode that I ever did because of my previous episodes that I did before. That was just I think that was only like just for 1 hour or 40 or 30-minute episode. And but this episode is like the first longest podcast episode I ever done because like I said, it's one of my favorite Godzilla films of all time from the Shona era.
Yeah, you guys had a lot to say on that one. It was like super awesome to see you guys just talk about what you love. And I think that's kind of what we echo here on the Kaiju United side of things. Like we're all about positivity. Um, is there like I know I was watching earlier today your episode with Mark Justice on Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2. And
Yeah.
I remember you saying that it wasn't your favorite Godzilla movie. How do you tackle movies you don't like, but spin it in a way that's still fun for your podcast?
Well, I didn't say like this. I didn't say like Godzilla versus Mecha Godzilla 2 wasn't my least favorite. I mean, to me, it was just an okay film. To me, it's like,
Okay.
I mean, and yeah, I mean, I did that episode with Mark Justice, and he did an amazing job in that episode with me. Like, and and I just and a few days ago, I just did Space Godzilla episode with Gojira 85-1, and it was it was and he did an amazing job on that episode too as a guest, and it's so weird. I mean, like two of my episodes so far, like for my Biollante episode and Space Godzilla episode I did, is there was some like problems with the episodes. Just some of them was a connection. I mean, like I remember in my Biollante episode, I actually did that episode the day I was sick. I
Oh
was kind
man.
of I was sick that day, and is I thought I was gonna cancel the episode premiere date for it, but I thought, what if Biollante affected me with her pollen power? I mean, so I decided, like, let's just do the episode anyway.
Yeah, let's muscle through it. I like it.
Yeah. And I did the same thing for my Space Godzilla episode, but I wasn't sick, but sometimes there was a problem with my internet connection, with the freezing and the connection. And I thought, what if that was Space Godzilla did that?
Space Godzilla's up to his shenanigans.
Yeah. I just love doing these practical jokes. And
Yeah, and I like the analogies that you use. Like you always spin it like the pollen power or Space Godzilla's doing this.
yeah.
Are there any others you think of? Like, what about when something's going good? Is it like, oh, Mothra has blessed us or something like that?
Um I don't think so. I don't think I never did.
Okay, just a fun little question. I do want to ask because I know you covered it a lot in growing up with Godzilla with Donnie Winter, but I want to know how did you get into Godzilla to begin with? Like, were you young? Were you older?
Oh, I can answer that. 'Cause, well, I answered a few of the hostess channel videos that I was guessing. I mean, I remember, well, first the Godzilla 1998 American film with Matthew Broderick was my first Godzilla film, but not my first Toho Godzilla film.
That was the same situation with me. It was my first Godzilla film, but not the first Toho. That is such a great thing to have in common.
Yeah, and I remember that I don't think I wasn't really into that film that much. I mean, I was more into Jurassic Park and like, but I th- I th- but a few years later, like in the year 2003, I think. Yeah, it was actually 20 years ago. I mean, like I remember I went to my old local video store with my mom that store used to be exist back then. I mean, I remember looking through the old VHS movies and on the shelves. I mean, and then I saw the 1998 Godzilla film. But right next to it is I discovered my first Toho film, Godzilla 1985, but the Raymond Burr version.
Oh man, that seems to be one that people start with a lot, just because it was. I think it was just released on video so much. A lot of people have so many positive core memories of that film. Um,
Yeah.
was it your favorite growing up, or has it always been Ebirah Horror of the Deep?
I mean, that's always been my favorite growing up before Ebra Horror of the Deep. And Yeah, I used to rent that film a lot on VHS, and I always beg my mom to say, ask her to take me to that video so I want to rent that movie on VHS.
Oh man, I used to go to Hollywood Video and Blockbuster a lot, and I think the one I got was Godzilla versus Gigan. Back when Sony was putting out the 50th anniversary DVDs. Um, so it was like Gigan, Ebirah, and then like the Millennium Series stuff, like Final Wars, the
Oh
Killer
yeah.
Saga. So a lot of the movies I got to see were thanks to those DVDs, but I did. My first Godzilla VHS was '85, so I guess like that's gonna happen to everybody.
Yeah, and but thankfully I'm glad they finally released the original Japanese cut on Blu-ray by Kraken releasing.
Yeah, that was crazy. When I first saw that news drop, I was like, "Holy cow! It finally happened!" And then like Criterion, several years later, was like, "We're putting out all the Showa Godzilla films." And the Japanese version of King Kong versus Godzilla. It was just mind blowing. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it a great time to be a fan? I mean, we have two awesome conventions now. All the Godzilla films are on Blu-ray. You can find them anywhere. They're free to watch on stuff like Tubi. It's
Yeah.
what a lovely time to be a fan, right?
Yeah, a lovely time. And I also forgot to mention that I have two Blu-ray versions of The Return of Godzilla, the US and the original Japanese cut.
Nice. Which
Yeah.
one do you prefer? Do you prefer the Raymond Burr version?
Well, yeah, the Raymond Burr version, but I prefer the original Japanese cut, and that also includes the English dub international audio.
Oh, I haven't. I don't think I've seen it dubbed in English, but the original Japanese version, I think I've just seen it subtitled.
Hmm.
Do you? Is it AIP or who dubbed it? Do you know at all?
The international dub
Yeah, I
version.
can't remember.
Yes, I don't remember. I think it was the same company who did the English stuff for the rest of the Heisei era Godzilla.
Okay, I'm sure it'll come to my mind eventually. I just can't remember. Um, that's really cool though. Like I'm so glad that everyone has these awesome memories of going to the video store and just renting all these movies. It's just amazing. I really love it.
Yeah.
Um, I do want to ask. I'm going to go back to your podcast a little bit. I'm a little curious because I know. Can I talk about which one I'm going to be on,
It,
or is it secret?
well, I can't give out all the answers of who's going to be in my next podcast episode because I just want to keep it like a secret and a
Okay,
surprise.
we'll keep it a secret then. What are you gonna? Are you gonna do something else after you're done with the Godzilla films? Because I know that you're starting to do Destroya. I think it premieres tomorrow.
Yeah,
Correct?
I'm gonna premiere Godzilla versus Destroyer episode tomorrow, and and I'm glad you brought it up. What's happened after I do all the Godzilla film episodes? I've been thinking about that for a long time. I mean, for that, I mean, I'm like, well, first of all, like after I do Godzilla Final Wars and in a few months, I mean, to me, I'm not even sure if I want to do the MonsterVerse era next, but I'm not really sure. But if I do, and right after I do all of them, I mean, I've been thinking about maybe I'm thinking about doing a Godzilla topic episode, like talk about these films that but they were never been made.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the cancel films,
Yeah,
like Legendary Wolfman versus Godzilla, or the Heisei film version of Godzilla versus King Kong.
yeah, or like something like Mothra versus Bacon, or Oh, what are some of the other fun ones that are cutting room floor stuff? Um, Godzilla versus the Devil was one rumored for a long time to have happened. Godzilla versus Adam West Batman is pretty crazy.
uh,
There's rumors that like that was going to happen. There's so many like possibilities of Godzilla. I think personally, that's what I like the most about Godzilla is that he can be a good dude, a bad dude, whatever you want him to be. You know?
yeah, I mean, we all know that he was a bad guy in the beginning of the Shona era. Then he becomes a good guy in between the middle and the end of the Shona era.
Yeah, yeah. He like turned heroic, and then he kind of. What would you characterize him in the Heisei films? Is he like an anti-hero?
Are you talking about the Heisei
Yes.
era?
Yeah.
I, well, well, I know he was like a bad guy in the beginning. I mean,
Mhm.
for the whole Heisei, but then he becomes a good guy in Space Godzilla and Destroyer.
Yeah,
And
but like in Mechagodzilla 2 and Godzilla vs. Well, he's kind of the bad guy, Godzilla vs. Spotzer. But like Mechagodzilla 2, I can't really tell if he's the good guy or the bad guy. He's just kind of in between, you know?
yeah, well, the military they're just trying to get rid of Godzilla. I
He's
mean,
almost
they're
like, go ahead.
I mean, they're not like the black hole aliens from the original.
Oh, I wish they were. Those are some fun bad guys. I was talking to Donnie Winter about that and a couple other guys. Just how much I like the human characters sometimes in Godzilla movies because they can be really fun. Like the agent guy in Godzilla versus Biolante that is just a jerk to everybody. The Seradian agent, I think his name is.
Oh yeah, the bad guy
Yeah,
and
like the cockroach aliens in Godzilla versus Gigan. That's one of my
yeah.
favorites. Do you have any favorites?
Well, like, what's my favorite Godzilla villain?
Yeah, but like the human characters.
Well, I don't have a favorite villain character, but my favorite character. Well, I have two. I have a few favorite characters. I mean, one from the Shona era, from Eberhard the Davis Dio, and she's my favorite. But my favorite human character of all time from the Heisei era, well, the rest of the Heisei era, is Miki Sugusa. You know, the psychic link lady.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. I miss seeing her at G Fest. I think it was 2018. She
Yes,
came.
yes, and I did meet her in 2018, and I did mention her a lot in my Space Godzilla episode. If you guys want to check that out.
Awesome. What was it? How was it meeting her? Because that was one of the G Fests I missed.
Because meeting her for the first time, I mean, well, before that, I've been dreamed about meeting the Miki Sugusa in person for the first time. I've been dreaming of that for years, and then a few years later, when I went to G Fest, I finally got to meet her, and she was so nice. And Megumi Odaga, who played Miki.
Yeah, I hear she's super nice. I hopefully she can come back to another convention sometime soon. I would love to meet her.
Yeah, and I heard they did bring her back in a short film Godzilla, Godzilla versus Gigan Rex. She,
Yep, she did the opening voiceover, I think.
yeah, yeah, I think she played the opening narrator.
Isn't that's so cool that she came back to the role? That just makes me excited. Like, who else could they bring back? I mean, they have a history of doing that. Like Takarada came back how many times?
Yeah,
Um, but like, we'll segue a little bit into some of the events and stuff. Like, we finally met formally at All Monsters Attack earlier this month, which was really
yes,
cool.
Yes, we did, and it was really great to meet you for the first time in person there, and hopefully, like, you said are you going to G Fest this year?
I am. I will be at G
Ye-
Fest.
Yeah, I will see you there again.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been on the Kaiju United side. I've been really focused on the community and the fandom and stuff. I was going to ask you about like your friendships in the fandom as well, because I know you and is it Goji Fan 1998? Is that his name, Nick?
Yeah, yeah, Nick.
You guys are really good friends. You call him Kaiju Brother in every podcast.
Oh, oh yeah. So we've been calling each other Kaiju brothers because he is my best friend and he's like a brother to me.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, along with other Godzilla friends too, like Donnie, Alyssa, and all of our other friends that we know, Nathan and and Nick, and yeah, some of them we all know. And let me say that we're all like a family, or should I say, kaiju family. I like saying that. I thought it was like a cool way for a name to say kaiju family.
Isn't it so neat that all of you enjoy the same thing, and that's what brings that family together. Like
Yeah,
no matter how far away you guys are and stuff.
yeah, yeah. It's like no matter how that we live far from each other, and then uh, it's it's like the reason we're all friends is that we thank the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla.
That's just the most wholesome thing. Like that's what I'm all about with community. That's what we're all about at Kaiju United. I just think it's really great that the community can come together and create podcasts and I don't know, fan films, fan fiction, all of
Yep,
that crazy stuff, just because we enjoy the same movies.
yep.
Um, did, are is your group specifically? Are they all kaiju YouTubers?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're all kaiju YouTubers that I met online, and they're all so nice, and they're very kind to me, and I, to be honest, I love making new friends who are Godzilla fans.
I do too. I think the most fun I have at conventions now, besides like of course, meeting all these wonderful guests, is just sitting in the hotel lobby, just talking to people.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from? What's your favorites? It's just engaging for me. I mean, what do you like about making new friends? Is it just because you get new friends?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. During my school years, like over the years, ever since after I graduated from high school, and I never had that much friends who are Godzilla fans. And I still have some normal average friends, and I still hang out with, and something like when I'm starting to meet new people who are just Godzilla friends. I was like so happy that I got to make new friends who are just Godzilla fans. That and and we all thank the big G himself that he's the one that brought us together for friendship. And not just that, when we watch these films, it always take us back to our childhood, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. That's how I feel about Godzilla too. It's like an old friend. Yeah, every time a new Godzilla film comes out, even if it's bad, even if it's good, doesn't really matter to me. I'm just here because Godzilla's back, and it's like an old friend.
Yeah, especially the old classic films. It's like when you rewatch them, it's like you're going back in time to see your younger self when you're or like when you're a kid. That's what I liked about watching these old classic films. They always take me back in time to my childhood.
Oh, totally. I feel that way when I watch Gigan. I can't bring up Godzilla versus Gigan enough.
Yeah, and to
Every,
me, it's always Godzilla 1985 that always takes me back, to those days.
I'm gonna ask another favorites question because I am also getting to know you as a fan. What's your favorite Godzilla design, like the suit?
Oh, I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, there are so many Godzilla suit design over these years, and in many other films. I mean, it's just so hard to pick. I mean, you only just to pick like a few of them, like five of them.
Sure.
I do like the '84 Goji suit from Godzilla 1905, and I also like the Bio Goji suit from Biollante. They also use that same suit for King Ghidorah and for the water scene for Mothra, the film after that. And I like the Godzilla 2000 suit they used for the 2000 film and Megaguirus. And I think I also like the Soshin Goji suit from Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla's Revenge, Hedorah, Gigan. And I also like the Godzilla suit from Ebra Horror of the Deep. That's
Oh yeah. Which suit was that again?
I don't remember the name.
I
Sometimes I
don't,
have a
I don't remember the names either. I just think of it as like Godzilla 66. Do you want to know my favorite?
Go ahead.
And you might go, you're joking, right? My favorite Godzilla suit is probably the one from Son of Godzilla.
Oh yeah, and that one is
I just like it because he's like fat and chunky, kind of cute looking.
yeah. And
It's
I don't
kind of
know, like,
charming.
yeah, some people said that suit looks terrible.
I love it.
Yeah, like,
Um, yeah, I've heard. I mean, I can't confirm if this is true or not, but from what I've read, they designed it to look like a dad because it was Son of Godzilla. So he's got kind of the gut that most dads have, and he's kind of a little stockier. And he's just got like a dad bod. Second place for me would probably be I'm a Showa guy, so probably King Goji, I think his name is from '62.
the original King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yes,
Oh yeah, that was a good suit too, and that his head was all flat and
I love like from King Kong versus Godzilla to Mothra versus Godzilla. He was just so lively. Like he would do the clap with his arms like this.
yeah, the clap and it was like that clicking sound and
Yeah.
yeah, I think I mentioned this in my King Kong versus Godzilla podcast episode with Goji Fan 98. They did the with his hands with the clicking sound. I was like, what is that? An oil can clicking? Because it kind of sounds like an oil can, like the one from Wizard of Oz.
He totally does. I also like in like Ghidorah the three-headed monster how he's just kind of a jerk. He's not like bad. He's not good. He's just kind of a mean guy. He's just a jerk. I would use stronger language, but I'll just keep it that way. Um, but Mothra's like, you need to help us fight against Ghidorah, and then you hear the fairies go, "Oh, Godzilla, what
Oh, what
terrible!"
terrible language!
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Oh, sweet. All right. What kind of soda do I owe you?
Well, to be honest, I don't really drink soda. I'm just saying that for fun.
Oh, okay. I'll go get a soda then. I drink too much soda. Coffee and soda. I gotta quit it.
Uh,
I don't know, but it's such a great time to be a Godzilla fan too. I mean, you got so many different kaiju podcasts out there. I mean, you're doing your stuff. My friend David does Talking Toku, and then a couple other friends do kaiju transmissions. Um, I mean, just on the podcast line, I mean, on the other side, we have a legendary Godzilla movie coming and a Toho Godzilla film coming in the next, and like within the span of like 8 months.
yeah, I did. They did release the teaser. I think it was like a minute or second, 30-second teaser trailer of the Godzilla versus Kong sequel.
How
But
you feel about that?
what?
I said, how are you feeling about it? What did you think of the trailer?
Well, when I saw it, first of all, I thought it was like a fake trailer that one of those YouTubes made, but no, it was like a real trailer they released. I was like, no way. And it's when I saw the trailer, I mean, it just reveals like another giant ape that's like Kong, but with long, very long arms. It looks like a giant orangutan. And I
Yeah,
saw it, I was like, wait, is that King Louis?
about to say King Louis. That's
Yeah,
him. He's back.
yeah, but he's all giant and mean looking. Like,
He's pretty. I
well,
hear he's the bad guy in that movie.
yeah, well, I don't want to be like him. uh, yeah, and I was shocked that they showed the skeleton heads of Godzilla and Kong, and they reviewed the title called Godzilla and was it called Godzilla X Kong, the new
Yes. Yeah.
empire? And I would say, but why X? I mean, why can't it just be called Godzilla and Kong, the new empire?
I don't know, because like I heard, I mean, when the rumors were swirling around that the title was Godzilla and Kong, but I don't know. I don't know why it's X Kong. I mean, they're gonna team up on Mister King Louis. So like, are they gonna fight before that again?
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't know. I'm excited for it. Isn't it cool that we're just getting all this Godzilla stuff though? Like all the comics, all the you have 2 movies coming out in the next year.
yeah, and I am looking forward to the new Toho Godzilla film that was releasing this fall, between fall and winter, but they haven't released a teaser trailer for it. But if they do, I'll be looking forward to watching that.
I'm excited. I I will plug Kaiju Masterclass on here. If anybody doesn't know the director, I believe his name is Yamaguchi.
Hmm.
That's his last name. If I got that wrong, I apologize. Kaiju Masterclass did a video going over his career. So if anyone's not familiar with this new director, I think you guys should watch it.
Yeah, and I actually did a podcast topic episode about this new film. We just talk about what it's going to be about and what is the plot and how we're excited about it. And I actually did an episode with that with Goji Fen 1998 back in November.
Nice.
If you guys want to check that out.
What are you expecting from the film? Are you buying into the rumors that it's like post-war Japan 1940 and the title's Godzilla Zero or something like that?
Well, that's a really tough question. I mean, for my thoughts about this, I don't know if this is going to be like Godzilla's own movie. You know, like Godzilla just in this one. I mean, I'm feeling that Godzilla is just going to be on his own, doing all the same things that he did for 1954 and 85, and just wreck buildings, but there's no monsters in it. But yes, but they kind of did the same thing for Shin Godzilla,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say, like, is it worth having Godzilla alone again? Because Shin Godzilla just did it, and I mean, in my opinion, did it really well.
yeah, I mean, I mean, if they do added some monsters, I'll be more interested in the monster fighting.
Did you know he also, the director of this new Godzilla movie, he directed Godzilla the Ride. Have you seen the footage of that?
No, I haven't. I mean,
It's not the Evangelion one. It's the other one with King Ghidorah and Rodan showing up. Yeah, he directed. I can send it to you when we are done recording if we need to. But he directed Godzilla the Ride. He also directed Always Sunset on Third Street too. I don't know if you remember that movie at all.
honestly, I never heard of that movie and I
That's okay.
never seen it.
Oh, good. So there's a scene in that movie, and it came out in 2007. So Final Wars had come out. This movie comes out, and there's a scene, and it's not a kaiju movie at all. It's like a drama. But this guy goes to bed, and he has a dream that Godzilla is attacking his city. And it's just like a super short sequence, but it was like the first Godzilla scene since Final Wars and the last one we would get until Godzilla 2014. So a lot of fans remember it.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about that when you said that, I thought it kind of sounds familiar. Are you talking about the that one scene that he's all CGI with the little mouth and his war is kind of like Zilla's war?
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I only saw that clip.
Yeah, that is the same film director that is doing the new movie. So I'm a little excited because he's already done some Godzilla stuff, kind of.
Awesome.
But I mean, alrighty. Wow. It's already been 40 minutes. It is flying by. I'm having fun.
Wow, it has.
Um, before we wrap things up, did you want to talk about anything that you would like to say about like your podcast or what people should check out? Maybe some friends you'd like to shout out? Just anything you'd like to say.
Well, I would love to talk about more about my podcast and I did not just do it. I just not just doing this podcast just to be famous. I just do this for fun, like a new hobby. Like it's just like drawing, doing sports, and this is kind of like a new hobby for me. I just do this for fun with special YouTube guests, and I love talk about these classic films with them, like what they like about it, and other things we know, and and I have that I feel like I want to keep doing this. This is like something fun for me, and I know I brought this up earlier about what happens after I do all the Godzilla films, and to me, there are other things besides Godzilla topics. I might do another monster marathon like Gamera or King Kong, and I might do those soon, right after the Godzilla marathon, with some new special guests.
Okay. Yeah, that would be really fun. Just go through all the Gamera films.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta do those Gamera films because I feel like no one cares about Gamera.
Oh, I care about Gamera. I love Gamera.
Yeah, and well, he is the friend of all children.
He's the friend of all children, and the way that's how he should be. And the Gamera trilogy is fantastic and amazing too, like the '90s trilogy.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Netflix series when they release it in America.
That comes out like next month. I forgot.
Yeah, and
oh my gosh, it's coming. It's coming up, man.
Yeah, I gotta rewatch these Gamera films just to give Gamera a try.
You should watch that '90s trilogy, man. It's pretty good. Have you seen it before?
Oh yeah, the '90s trilogy is awesome. They're like, or to me, I like to call it the Heisei trilogy.
Yeah,
because these films were made right after Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way to call them too. But they're great. But I also love Gamera the Brave. I think is fantastic too.
Yeah, I remember watching that for the first time after Arrow Video released it on Blu-ray.
Really great way to see it. I'm glad it's back in print because for a while there it was really hard to find.
Yeah, one of my favorite Gamma films of all time is it's probably Gamma versus Baragon, aka War of the Monsters.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like Gamera versus Zegra because it's fun.
Zigra, that, and it's so weird. That film sometimes makes me sleepy. I don't know why.
That's weird. Honestly, and this isn't saying it's bad because I like to be positive on Kaiju United. I always fall asleep when watching Gamera versus Tiger. I don't know why. So maybe that's the same thing but different movies,
Yeah,
It's crazy. So I mean, maybe it's relaxing. I don't know.
mm, yeah. I mean, but I also like Gamma versus Virus, that giant squid space monster, and
Yeah,
yeah, and I actually got to meet the star from the film at the Almost Attack convention.
yeah. Carl Craig.
Yeah, Carl, and he's really nice. So
Is
hopefully
super
I'll
good.
get to, hopefully I'll get to have him on my podcast someday when I do the Gamma marathon.
That'd be awesome because I saw you had Linda Miller on. That was really cool.
Yes, I did. I did King Kong Escape episode with Linda. She was really nice.
How did
I can't wait to meet her at G Fest this year.
how did you get her on? Did you just like ask her and she said yeah?
Yes, I did. I did. I did message her. I asked her like, I'm doing a podcast about Godzilla, and I might do a King Kong podcast marathon. And I was asking, will you be interested to be in uh, King Kong versus? I mean, not versus King Kong Escapes, since you're the main star of the film, and I thought you would you like to be in this episode as a guest? And she actually said yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, she does an amazing job, and she was very nice.
That's cool. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, I hope you can get Carl Craig. I'm sure that's definitely like a goal of yours to maybe have some more like celebrity guests like that on your podcast. Like maybe one day Don Fry or something.
Oh yeah, Don Fry. I mean, yeah, I got to have him on my show, especially Godzilla Final Wars, and yeah, I'll try to get Don Fry to be on my show. And speaking of Don Fry, I hear he's actually going to be at G Fest this year.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, he was supposed to be there last year, but
Yeah. He had to have some back surgery or something like that. It was hopefully he's feeling better. I'm glad he's coming back this year to make it up for the fans and stuff.
yeah, well, hopefully I'll get to have him on my show someday in the future. But who knows? I'll let.
Yeah, I want to be on your show.
But don't worry, you will. but I can't tell you which episode.
Oh, you can't tell me yet. Okay, it's a surprise.
Mhm.
But Brendan will just send me a link to StreamYard and go, okay, Jacob, the movie is this. Talk. Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap things up here pretty quickly. Brendan, I wanted to thank you personally for jumping on with me and doing these community interviews because it's nice to just sit down and talk to people in the fandom. We're just talking about our favorite Godzilla stuff. I mean, that's awesome. It's casual. It's a fun time. Thank you for being on here.
You're welcome, and I'm glad to be on your show, and it was really fun, and I'm glad that we get to know each other, and And I'm so glad to have you as a friend and all the other friends that we know from All Monsters Attack and G Fest.
It's and it's gonna be a good time. We'll both be at G Fest. For those of you watching, I hope you come see us, come visit, say hello. Don't be afraid. For the people watching this that don't know what we do at Kaiju United, join our Facebook group, Kaiju United, official Facebook group. You can see us at kaijuunited.com. We post articles and all that fun stuff. And for those of you that are watching later, this is Brendan, does an amazing film series podcast on the Godzilla movies. Please go check out his podcast. He's doing one tomorrow night. What time is that, Brendan?
I think it's like 8 o'clock Central Time.
All right, 8 o'clock Central Time. Godzilla versus Destroyer.
Yep, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more Godzilla Film Podcast episodes coming soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See ya.